Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment on the Weekend Show brought to you by Holocron Popcorn. Side note, I like that song that played. Like, I was listening to it and I was like, oh, this is actually very nice. So that's really good.
Yeah, I heard you sing and I was like,
How are you, Didi?
I'm good, I'm good.
It's good to see you. I've not seen you about 2 weeks because 2 weeks ago it was your show and it was about women. So happy International Women's History Month
Thank
to
you.
you and all the women on the Weekend Show and to all of our viewers.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Hustling.
Hustling.
Based on the economy.
You know what? Let's start this segment with a rant. The heat.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's bad when the economy is economying and then electricity is absolute rubbish, and we must be honest about it. And then
And
the
on the
heat
weather.
which we've had in the last couple of weeks has been something else.
Yes. I've been swimming. I like swimming, I enjoy swimming, but I've been swimming more than usual.
I can
Because of the
imagine, and it's just a very good escape, which actually ties into what we are going to be talking about. How do you have a work-life balance? It's one of the situations where lately I hear a lot of millennials and even Gen Z saying, when we're in secondary school and uni, they say just finish school and then you can rest, you can do whatever you want. But now everyone is complaining about how this adulting never stops. You blink and it's Monday, and then it's a whole long week and it's Friday, and you blink again, it's another Monday. And at what point do we rest? At what point do we get a break? And then the moment you're leaving your house, the next thing you're hearing is savings or current, cash or transfer. And so it just sounds like it's always one thing or the other. And so how do you strike a balance? Just like you said, I've also started swimming a lot more, even though I was quite very bad at it, but I've been taking classes. But it's important that to avoid burnout, people find
Yes.
some outlet.
Yeah.
Exercising also comes in handy, but also with the heat.
Exactly. It's just so hot. And the electricity doesn't even help,
The
balancing.
electricity situation in the country currently is unacceptable. The Minister of Power has to do something about it, or the President. And if the right people can't do something about it, then we need to get better people. We can't be
Exactly.
dancing around these topics because it's affecting businesses. I spent the whole of last night without light. My inverter is tired, so that gave up its ghost yesterday. It's just wrong, and this isn't the renewed hope we asked for. Something has to be done. But let's talk about how people are trying to stay afloat and have this work-life balance in the country, in their own little spaces. And we have some interesting guests in the studio with us. And so joining us,
We have Prince Elisha Sebe, who is the CEO of Mauritius Ventures. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. And we also have Monday Ehimari Jeffrey, who is the principal partner, MJ Ehimari and Co. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
So you guys have heard how we've been ranting, and it's weird because anytime you say in Nigerian, it's like we just have something to complain about.
Yeah.
And so I would like to even start by with a bit of a segue. How are your businesses doing in this current time in Nigeria? Before we talk about even taking a break from work and establishing a balance.
Anyways, thanks for having me, Mr. Madeki, and viewers out there. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Elisha. Like I rightly said, I'm the CEO of Mauritius Ventures. Mauritius Ventures is a house finishing company that specializes on importation of doors, stainless steel handrails, and other house finishing products. Well, lately business has been rough, but as Nigerians, as my sister rightly said, we keep hustling. The lack of electricity has caused more harm than good to our businesses. The average Nigerian, when you run a business, you expect light to be there because when you have a showroom, you're expecting client or guests to come in, and it's quite unpleasing when they come in, the weather is so hot. Even if they want to have an interesting conversation about the economy, politics, and so on, because of the heat, it makes it extremely uncomfortable. The situation is very tough. It's even a problem to fuel our cars. Talk more fueling the generator in the office, then your house. Business is not as usual, the inflow is not there. So it's quite difficult, but as Nigerians, we always survive.
What about you, sir?
Thank you so much. Like you rightly said, my name is Monday Ehimari Jeffrey, Principal Solicitor, MJ Ehimari and Co. To me, I would say it has been fair, notwithstanding the present challenge in the society. We have been able to boycott that aspect. Thank God for solar. If not, we would have been having series of issues with our clients, trying to meet up with expectation as the rule connotes for legal practice. But it has been fine. It's been fine. And God is helping us.
I just wondered, you know how lawyers have to wear their wig and gown and black suits and whatever?
In
It must
this
be a
heat.
trying time in the courts right now
Oh,
for the
yes.
judges and lawyers.
back to that, sir. You know, our own position, we've actually tackled majority of issues as to that. There was a time I was in a court in Kubwa,
Yeah.
and the judge literally said, please, at this point in time, take off your wig.
May God bless that judge. Like,
Take off your wig, take off your gown. The weather is not fair to anybody. So what we did, all lawyers, a very learned senior stood up and then he said, sir, may God give you longevity, may God keep you. You know, it was
I
really,
expect more judges to do that. Like, it's just like this isn't old Roman Empire or Greece where we have to do all of that, especially in the weather. And so I can imagine how relieved you guys were.
sir, we were really relieved, you know, knowing you have the suit in, you have your white, you have your beep, your collarette,
You have
and
your
then
singlets.
your singlet, and then the gown.
Haba.
Understand? Although we were built for that. The majority of us were already used to it.
All right, so we hustle a lot in this country in order to make ends meet, and particularly with the new economic situation, we have to strive to do more. But in doing more, it's very easy for us to, burn out, as Andy said earlier. So could you give me, or could you tell me what you do to create a good work-life balance in order to avoid burnout?
Okay, for me, I think it's quite simple. And what I tell people, what works for me might not work for someone else. I love myself so much. I try to take as much rest as I could. It is only when you have life, you could actually have this passion to, hustle. What I do more is I'm a cinema freak.
Okay.
And I thank God when you go to the cinemas, the AC there are top notch, just like what we have here. When you're in the studio like this, when you're in the studio like this, you actually don't believe you're in Nigeria. So maybe you invite me more, so I will enjoy your AC. So what I do, I swim a lot.
Okay.
And swimming is the best form of exercise because almost all parts of your body are working and all of that. So maybe in a week I go to the cinema like twice. Okay. That was during Buhari era. So
now movies are so expensive.
So expensive.
Movies are so expensive. Then movies were just for, I think for week some,
3,000.
2.5. Some movies were like 2.5. You get the free popcorn and all of that. But now it's around 6,000, 7,000.
For some it's about 10,000.
Yeah, for the 3Ds and all these American movies, blockbusters movies, 10K. So I now have to downsize a bit, as a Nigerian.
And do Netflix and fan. It's not about Netflix and fan.
Netflix and fan. So that's what. So I exercise a lot. Yeah. I go to the cinema. I spend more time on my phone, TikTok, Instagram, and all of just trying to cash out. I usually resume the work by 9 a.m., close by 5. Now because everybody is going gaga in this country, so I try to go to work by 10. By 4, I'm back home, just trying to, maybe when you're driving, when it's around 5, 6, the roads are choked and all of that, and I hate it so much. Spending 3 hours on traffic, it depends on the situation. So I try to work more at home, trying to reach out to my staff members and know what's going on.
They're going to be, Nigeria is an interesting place, and so when you start one topic, it leads to something else. Yeah. The traffic situation in Abuja and most parts of the country has become something else. But I find it very distasteful, and I promised myself I would say this on TV. The Federal Road Safety Commission and the VIO officials, they spend more time trying to catch people for one fine or the other to raise revenue than fixing the traffic situation in town. And I think something has to be done about it. You pass a traffic light where you see one traffic warden trying to control traffic and people are driving like something is wrong with them. And then you see 10, 15 VIO officials or police officers hiding behind the traffic light just to catch people
Yeah.
who do that, because for some form or the other there are fines. We need to ensure that people can drive in the right way. You need to ensure that there's a functional system before thinking about what form of payments can be gotten. In some cases, yes, it's legal payments and fines, but in some cases, we do know that some of these people just want what they want for themselves. And so you find out that the people who are meant to control road traffic or ensure that it moves smoothly are the people causing the delays
Yeah.
and the traffic.
Yeah.
You go to a busy roundabout, and that's where they decide to stay. We need a country that works first before people's individual interests, and we must mention that. But I see you have something to say about that.
you know, I think in such scenario, when you're trying to generate revenue from the public, my own opinion, I think the citizens should be put first.
I agree.
Reason being that, like what you rightly stated, I've seen plentoria of scenarios where you get VIOs stalking the road, trying to leave their work description. You know, like the name implies, vehicle inspection officers.
Yeah.
The Federal Road Service Corps, they have their own function. Even the police do the same.
Yes.
It is very wrong for a police officer to call you and start requesting for your particulars.
For a fire extinguisher.
It is very wrong. Reason being that on the only ground where they could do that is if, for instance, your car fits a description of a stolen vehicle. At that point in time, they have the right, okay, he's driving a blue Corolla with tinted glass, as stated in the reports, or the, what's it called, the signal they got that a particular car is coming from a particular direction, and it has all of this. They have actually been a tool, you know, in causing a very serious chaos in the society, in the sense that the traffic which you were,
Which is avoidable.
which is totally avoidable, you know, they have, I don't know, for selfish reason. And if you ask them, they say, oh God, the economy guy be.
And they go to the busy places. Life Camp Roundabout, they go to that, you know where Beggar is?
Yeah.
There's an NMPC fuel station where they need to change the exit because it causes a whole lot of traffic where FIRS, the PDP headquarters is. And these are the things you expect VIU and road safety to do. They should be at those points making sure that cars can move freely. And so you go there around 3 p.m. to 5. You're there for over 20 minutes. But they're just waiting at the other end of the road to catch people. I think we need to change the name of today's lifestyle segments to Lifestyle in Nigeria. Generally.
Honestly.
But let's come back to you about your own work-life balance. At the end of this long day with traffic, with law enforcement, with poor electricity, with the economy doing what it's doing, how do you strike a balance?
Yeah, thank you, sir. You know, the first thing I tend to do was to, at first it was a very serious challenge, you know, where I would literally get to the office on Monday and return back to my choice of habitat on a Friday. And I have kids because of the workload I have. And then I discovered one technique, which was improving my own very self. I read a lot of books. I invest more in books. The moment I was able to upgrade myself a little, I discovered I just do little and get more results. Now, how does this work for me is, you know, a knowledge gathered for a period of 6-7 years. Let's say, for instance, okay, let me narrow it to Tennessee matter, for instance. I haven't had 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 30 Tennessee issue.
Yeah.
I'm just narrowing it to that. I became aware of the norms on how to go about this. So when I was supposed to spend 3 hours, 4 hours drafting a process, I do same within a period of, let's just say within the space of 30 minutes. So I was able to create this.
So you now have templates which you can use. You
You-
already
yes,
have an understanding of it as
let
well.
let me even run far from the template. I became aware of the position of the law, so I know where to pick and just drop it.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? So I was able to enhance myself and build my intellectual capacity to a particular position, and then at that point in time, I could spend less time at work and still be able to refer back to my family.
It's like
my
pastors, because
personal
you
life.
read the Bible so much, you already know the
Yes.
verses which would apply to certain things.
Thank
which
you
want to
very
pray and
much.
deal-
Thank you very much. So
deal
that's
with.
just the position. So what I do now is when I am faced with a situation, I haven't developed myself in that aspect. It's just like a win-win scenario for me. So after a long term of investment on trying to know how this works, presently now it's just very easy. Some of the clients will come, they're like, okay, this is what you just do. No. Alpha now, reduce this money now. It didn't stress you. But they fail to understand that
It's
a lot has been
years
put
of
into
training.
it. Again, a lot has been put into this. And because of this, I've been able to create a work balance and my own personal life activities. So, notwithstanding the economy, we know Nigeria is for the strong. And due to the fact that I was able to enhance myself academically and in my career field, it is safe to say that I was able to, a job that would take me 3-4 days, within the space of 4-5 hours, I'm done. So I could still attend to other life activities. So I think the key thing for me was I was able to
Work smarter.
work smarter. Thank you, sir. I think that's the term.
Yeah, I believe in working smart, not working
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And that's the mistake a lot of people make. People just want
Yeah.
to look busy
Yeah.
besides actually doing the work.
Meanwhile, I could finish that work in 3 hours, but people try to look busy for
Because you need to do that 8
8
to
hours.
5 and you're sitting there.
Yeah. How about you, Andy? What do you do to
So,
create a work-life balance?
For me, a lot of people who have worked with me, including yourself and the crew here, know that on Sunday, I believe in keeping your Sabbath holy. I don't interact with anybody, even if you want to give me £1 billion on Sunday, it can wait till Monday. And that's something I've done over the years. My Sunday is for me because, look, we're here on Saturday, this is work, Monday to Friday. And so Sunday is time for myself and my loved ones. And that's all that it is. Anything outside that can wait for another day. And it's one of those disciplines that we need to cultivate and take for ourselves. You need to be alive for you to make money. People will say, oh, it's because you don't need whatever. No, like even if I don't have money, there's more to life than trying to work or earn money. You need to have some time for yourself. And so for me, I make sure that weekend Sundays, I don't do any work on Sundays. It's for me. And so if I want to do something, it has to be serving me or giving me rest. So sometimes I just sleep. In the past, I used to have bad sleeping habits. But now I've set a bedtime timer on my phone. So by 10 p.m., my phone goes to sleep. So I don't see any notifications, I don't do anything. And it's that discipline. So it goes to bed from 10 to 6. 6, I can now go to the gym for 1 hour and come back. But the importance of rest. Most times we just want to be busy. Even self-development is good. But I've learned the importance of rest. And my own work-life balance is Sunday is for me. From 10 p.m. is actually for rest. And now I'm sleeping better. I now have the energy to work out in the morning. And then, economy permitting, when I have money, I can now say, oh, maybe I should go on a vacation if that happens. In the past, I could plan that and say, I'm going now, but as we are right now, I don't know when next I'm going to travel. It depends on how things work out for me.
Tolerate.
But, and to be honest, this is a lesson I've had to learn myself. You don't even always have to travel abroad
Yeah.
to take time off. You can go to Akwa Ibom. I've been there before, and I liked where I say you can even explore Nigeria. But that also comes from a place of privilege because flight tickets are still very high.
Very high.
And you can't use the roads because of
roads are
insecurity. And so sometimes just stay in your house where you are loved at home and rest. What's your final thought besides swimming?
Oh, okay. I sleep a lot.
Okay.
I
Yes,
love
you
to
do.
sleep. I love to sleep. It's so bad that whenever my parents call me and the next message that comes in when I don't pick is wake up. Like they don't want to know what you're doing. They just said wake up. So I sleep a lot and I read a lot. I enjoy reading. I like reading novels a lot. I give my myself yearly goals. So I read a book a month. But
Oh.
this this particular year, I don't know what it is. I'm reading like 2 or 3 a month.
That's
So
not
yeah, I've just been those two things in particular. Oh, then I enjoy spending time with like friends and family. So
Yes, you
that,
do. Oh, there's
So,
also
yeah,
I
that
like
helps.
podcasts. I listen to
Oh,
a
yes,
lot
yes, I
of
listen to
podcasts. So when
podcasts
I'm
too,
working
so that's-
out,
yeah.
I have a podcast in my ear. I like cooking when I'm cooking as well.
Oh,
But I
okay.
actually enjoy cooking.
I see
It's
cooking as
something-
work, so it's not
No,
part of my work life.
it's the cleaning up
Cooking?
process during and after cooking that stresses
Yeah.
me. But I enjoy cooking. It makes me it's therapeutic for me.
Okay, just to mention, you mentioned even if you given $1 million on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, please, if you have $1 million,
They should
I
reach
should
out
give
to
it to
you.
you.
just send it to
It can wait till
But
Monday.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
saying that because boundaries are very important
Very
when
true.
creating a work-life balance. Because once there are no boundaries there, you keep pushing yourself till you get to that, you get to that limit, and then you just break off and burn out at the end of the day, which isn't good because you could end up even falling sick.
Like, see, like 'cause the director just told me that I know that if they give me $1 million, I'll jump up on Saturday. The truth of the matter is, there's no amount of money I can walk away from because most times we spend our life working so hard to make money, but we now end up using that money to treat ourselves because your body would hold you accountable for it. There was a time when my mom calls on a Sunday and I don't pick her whatever. She now started telling people that, oh, Sunday is Andy's Sabbath. So when someone was like, I tried reaching Andy, and she was like, is this Sunday? Leave him alone. And so for me, whatever, I'm not a police officer. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not fire service. So whatever that emergency is, it can wait till Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Even if it's a billion naira. Share banks too, they will still resume on Monday. And so it's the boundaries, like you say, but for me, it's just principles. However, because I want to make heaven, I may be lying. There's an amount of money I'll get on a Sunday, and I will fly, not even jump. But for the little things, I don't stress it, and I take Sundays off. I think that's a good place to leave
Yeah,
it.
it is.
Gentlemen, this ended up being a very great conversation. Wish you all the best in your endeavors and in your work.
Thank you.
For lawyers, we are always saying you people, good luck to you and all the work that you do, and you people are always threatening to sue one person or the other. I see what's happening with Erisco Foods, and one of these days we'll talk about it
Yeah.
and how that plays out. We should also talk about how the Cybercrime Act has now been used to prosecute people for any and every reason, which I think needs to be amended. For what you do, interior design and building finishings, you are part of the problem in this country. The amount of housing, materials,
it's
the
so high.
rent, the cost to buy a house right now. I just say it and I'm like, it's like people just have to rent and maybe share rooms for the
Honestly.
next couple of years.
I say that to people, and I say that to all contractors. Most of the problem we have about house collapsing sometimes is because of the client. Now, as professionals, as I am, I tell people Julius Berger has the standard, Malaysia Ventures have the standard. If you give me a template, I'll tell you this is what is required. If we can deal, good. If we can't deal, please walk away. But because of the economic situation, everybody just want to make a penny. Cut. A client will give you a project of 10 million and is expecting an execution of ₦1 billion. So the contractors try to, which is very bad, and I preach it to everybody. Like you said, I love what you said. Even if it's $1 million, you walk away. we should learn to have integrity.
Yeah.
You know, integrity,
Yeah.
when you have integrity, for me, if you give me integrity and money, I'll go for integrity, because with integrity, you can get money along the line. So
100%.
it's a very, you know, it's a very bad situation, and I'll preach it to every contractor there. You know, let your integrity be even stronger than the words that come out of your mouth. Because for every life, you know, that goes on because of a bad project, I don't know how you're going to sleep. You know, your conscience is going to judge you till eternity. So I will advise people to always have that integrity.
Thank you so much for
Thank
adding
you.
that, because I see a lot of construction projects right now. And when you see the way the buildings
Yeah.
are placed, you can tell that it's not level, it's not the way it should be.
The
And I
scale is
worry
something
about the
wrong, yeah.
future of housing. But that's the much we can take on this segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we've got more for you on the weekend show. Thanks, Didi.
Thank you too.